It's movie night, and you cozy up on the couch with your favorite snacks. In the middle of the movie, you feel a sudden pain in your chest. You try to get up, but you feel lightheaded and dizzy and collapse to the floor, unconscious. Next thing you know, you wake up in a hospital bed, wondering what happened. The doctors are questioning you and your family. Finally, they discover it was your beloved Halloween treats that betrayed you. Out of all the things that could threaten your life, you never thought it would be candy. This is the story of a man who was killed by a simple treat. A 54-year-old construction worker from Massachusetts was sitting in a fast food restaurant around lunchtime. He suddenly gasped for breath out loud, struck by an unknown pain in his chest, and struggled to remain conscious, but quickly passed out in the middle of the restaurant. Paramedics rushed to the scene and attempted CPR before taking the patient to the emergency room at Massachusetts General Hospital. He was unresponsive and had an irregular heartbeat of only 40 beats per minute, far below the normal range of 60 to 100 BPM. The doctors determined that he had suffered a heart attack and placed him in the cardiac intensive care unit with a mechanical ventilator to keep him breathing. The patient had reportedly been in normal health earlier that day and had no symptoms of illness or a history of chest pain, difficulty breathing, or any other signs of heart issues. His family reported their medical history. There was no genetic pattern of cardiac disease or other conditions that could be the culprit. None of the patient's close friends were sick with any illness, ruling out a contagious sickness. The situation was downright puzzling, like the plot of a House episode. There was one noteworthy sign about the patient's health. His potassium levels were dangerously low, enough to cause heart issues. And during their medical investigation, doctors learned something interesting about the man. Apparently, he had been eating several packs of a certain type of candy every day. He had a bit of an addiction. There's just no sugarcoating it. The patient had been eating soft red licorice flavored candy, but 3 weeks ago, he had made a switch to black licorice. So, why is this important to know? Well, before we get into that, we've got to talk about today's sponsor. Wait, this can't be right. Us?
That's right, Brew! For the past year, the fine people behind the Brew crew have been working on something big. And today, it's finally here! Brew, have you ever played that classic game of spoons and thought, gee, ain't this dull? Well, have I got a game for you. It's Knives, a sharp-and reimagining of an old classic. Knives keeps the explosive, reflex-testing gameplay of spoons, while adding strategy, skill-based competition, and, well, knives!
Well, knife cards, at least, that 3 to 6 players have to fight over to survive. To claim a knife, you must first gather a set of 4 matching collectible cards, based on our little friends.
There's Bean, Toodle, Loaf, and even Jack's dumb goldfish. Collect them with the help of action cards, which can also be used to backstab your friends.
But watch out. Once a player has claimed a knife, everyone can. And there aren't enough knives for everyone. The person who doesn't grab one in time is out, and the last player left standing wins.
And we got character cards. Assigned to each player at the beginning of the game, they've got powerful abilities, and are based on characters from our show on the Hill.
If you're looking for a game that is incredibly fun, competitive, and has simple rules to learn but robust strategy to master while supporting us too, hop on over to our Kickstarter page to learn more. Click on the link in the description or go to knivescardgame.com and pledge now. If we reach our funding goal, we can make Knives a real game and you'll get your very own copy in the mail. 3 weeks ago, he had made a switch to black licorice. So, why is this important to know? Well, black licorice products are made from licorice root, which has often been used as a folk medicine or traditional remedy in both Eastern and Western cultures for thousands of years. The licorice plant is a low-growing shrub native to South Africa and is often used as a sweetener. Black licorice products, however, often contain glyceric acid. which can change potassium levels, leading to the disruption of electrolyte balance and increased cortisol. This could cause hypertension, low blood pressure, digestive issues, an irregular heart rhythm, and renal failure. The FDA states that soft candy can contain a maximum of 3.1 glyceric acid, and that people over 40 can be hospitalized if they eat too much of it regularly. Even a small amount of black licorice can increase your blood pressure, and eating 2 ounces or more of it every day for 2 weeks, like our patient in Massachusetts, can land someone in the hospital. The good news is that even if you did go a little too hard on the black licorice candy one time, when you stop eating it, your potassium levels usually level themselves out without any permanent health issues. Though not all licorice-flavored products contain glyceric acid, it's important to note when it does so you don't eat way too much, because any food containing licorice root extract can interact with certain medications, herbs, and dietary supplements. The FDA advises that, no matter your age, you shouldn't consume a large amount of black licorice at once. If you do eat a lot and experience irregular heartbeat or weakness, stop eating it immediately and contact medical professionals. Famous candy and chocolate company Hershey's also has a statement on black licorice. They say that while all their products are safe to eat and comply with FDA regulations, they advise that all foods, including candy, be enjoyed in moderation as part of a balanced diet. Before we dig into this next part, please do not try to attempt or test this theory about candy overload at home. Black licorice is not exactly the world's most beloved candy, so most of us are safe from eating too much that it hospitalizes us. But how much of your favorite candy could you eat before it becomes a fatal dose? Could Halloween become an unintentional brush with death? Now that would be spooky. According to the American Chemical Society, a lethal amount of sugar is 13.5 grams per pound of body weight. That's the amount that would give you a 50-50 chance of living, otherwise known as the LD50. The weight of an average American man and woman is around 200 and 165 pounds. So let's go between those and use 180 for our calculations. And remember, for this to be a lethal dose, you'd have to eat it in one sitting. So, watch out, YouTubers who make mukbang videos. This one's for you. To calculate, multiply the weight in pounds by 13.5 to find out how many grams of sugar might be lethal to a person of that weight. So, someone weighing 180 pounds would have to eat 2,430 grams of sugar in one sitting to reach their LD50. Now, we can usually figure out the number of grams of sugar per serving in a candy's packaging on the nutritional information chart. For example, a mini-size Snickers has about 4.5 grams of sugar. If we divide the LD50 dose by the number of grams of sugar per serving, the answer tells you how much of that candy will kill you. Can you guess how many Snickers Minis bars that is? The answer is 540. 540 of those mini Snickers could kill someone who weighs 180 pounds. Ooh, look, we did the science math. With this formula, we can find out that the same person could also die from eating 1,670 pieces of candy corn, 2,552 M&M candies, 299 mini Milky Ways, 234 Reese's peanut butter cups, and 1,143 Pixie Sticks. I'm curious, how much of your favorite candy would it take to kill you? Let us know in the comments. Being able to eat that much candy is pretty unlikely, but it's still possible to have too much sugar even if it's not a life-threatening amount. When you have sugar, you feel a rush of energy brought on by dopamine, a neurotransmitter that makes you feel good and is part of the brain's reward system. Sugar also makes your body release insulin, a hormone made by the pancreas that helps turn food into energy, as well as the metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Insulin works with another hormone, glucagon, to regulate the body's blood glucose levels. During a sugar high, you feel a rush from the increased dopamine and blood glucose levels. Once the effects wear off, your body has too much insulin and not enough glucose to give you energy. This is the, quote, sugar crash we're all familiar with. Symptoms of a sugar crash include headaches, irritability, tiredness, difficulty concentrating, anxiety, shakiness, dizziness, hunger, and bloating. When you know you've had too much sugar, you can help your body recover by drinking water, eating whole unprocessed foods, and exercising. For people with diabetes, their bodies don't make enough insulin or don't use insulin normally, so it's easier for their blood sugar levels to rise dangerously high or drop too low, and a simple sugar crash can be much more severe and quite dangerous to their health. But even for people without diabetes, though a sugar crash isn't life-threatening, there are long-term negative effects of consuming too much sugar. It can lead to heart disease, heart attacks, and type 2 diabetes. Other effects include brain fog, less energy, cravings, weight gain, sleep issues, skin problems, and tooth decay. As always, the most important thing is to enjoy sugar in moderation and keep your diet balanced with lots of other foods. Going back to our candy-loving construction worker, he wasn't eating anywhere near enough sugar for it to be a lethal dose, though several packs of licorice still probably wasn't great for his health. But as we know, the man switched to eating black licorice from red in the 3 weeks before his heart attack. Too much glyceric acid that was only in the black licorice as opposed to the red during that time period had caused his potassium levels to drop dangerously, which led to serious complications with his heart and kidney. The man and his family were offered renal replacement therapy, but they declined and doctors adjusted their treatment to providing the most comfortable care possible. 36 hours after arriving at the hospital, the patient passed away peacefully, surrounded by his family. Doctors researched carefully to determine that there was no other explanation for the man's death. In the end, they concluded that the only clear cause for his low potassium levels was the black licorice. It was officially a case of death by candy. While it's very unlikely that you will ever experience death by candy from eating too much Halloween treats, remember to be mindful of black licorice if you eat a lot of it consistently. Also, even though it would take hundreds of candy bars or treats to actually kill you, you should still try to moderate your sugar consumption levels. For example, I could put sugar in the 20 or so cups of coffee I drink a day, but I don't. It's little steps like this that can keep us healthy. Remember to treat yourself. Click on the link in the description or go to knivescardgame.com and pledge to support us now. If we reach our funding goal, we can make Knives a real game and you'll get your very own copy in the mail.